Yup, it's from Mate Gillette, aka Cat, and we're going to be doing that Alpha Tech Cave. Going to be showing you how to line up, showing you what you need for it, and how to complete the Overseer boss fight. So basically, the Alpha Tech Cave video will kind of be in two parts, but wrapped into one video. One part is obviously going down the cave, and then to the teleporter, and the other part will be teleporting in and doing the Overseer. As you can see, we're at the volcano, and to make things easy, we've shut down a force field. Well, Rika shut down a force field and turned it on to stop any griefing. You see, it's really easy to grief the tech cave where if people catch wind of someone doing it. It's a fun thing to do, grief a tech cave. So you do want to put a force field down or some form of fob if you're going to be doing it. When you're outside, you want to form an orderly queue with your Rexes, yeah, because you get 5 minutes of the door being open and you want to get potentially 30 people in. Yeah, there's no max on how many survivors can actually go in. Where it says on the top there 5 out of 10, that's actually to do with how many can teleport at a time, and we'll talk about that later on in the video when we get to the end of the cave. So basically, just to summarize, when you're going to start off doing your tech cave, you want to get whoever's running it at the front, and you want to make a nice orderly filed queue at the tech cave with the Rexes, okay, in order, and everyone needs to just be patient. Yeah, you've got 5 minutes to get everyone in. There's plenty of time. Yeah, you don't need to rush, you don't need to be jamming Rexes into other Rexes, and if you do, just casually walk backwards, yeah, and let the one that's in front of you go in is the best way to do it. Another good thing to do before you actually go into the tech cave is relog. This reduces the likelihood of you lagging out when you're actually at the tech cave entrance. Okay, so when you get there, you want to get in a queue, and don't worry if you're not actually doing this yourself and you're just going through it. The leaders or whoever's running it will make sure everyone knows what they're doing. So in short, you need to line up your Rexes, walk through in an orderly queue. Before you do that, you need to relog to reduce the chance of lagging out once you're in. Now, what's going to happen is whoever's going down the cave first, the leaders or whoever's running it, they're going to just be chomping all the dinos up. There's 2 dangerous hazards within this cave, and that's 2 gigas. That's on the Alpha Hard Tech Cave, and to disperse them, you can bait them actually into lava, and you don't actually have to fight them at all. It should be added, if you do have to fight them, you can. You got to bear in mind that there's loads of dinos in here, there's loads of gear, and hopefully people have shotguns as well. So you really can kill the gigas. You don't have to bait them. It's just a lot easier. Do you know what I mean? It's the tech cave here, isn't it? And it's gonna the more health and DPS you can do in the Overseer fight, the better. You know. Although saying that, I personally believe the Overseer fight is relatively easy compared to the Hard Dragon. I'm not gonna lie, but hey, that's just me. And that's just because of the percentile damage that the Dragon does. So basically, in this video, going through. I'm going to be fast forwarding some bits because otherwise this thing's going to be like an hour long or 40 minutes long or whatever. But in short, you just walk down the cave, have a couple Rexes at the front, and just have them walk down basically and kill all the stuff. It'll get a bit bloody, but by the time you reach the end, you can harvest meat. If you notice on the top right hand corner, it indicates that there's a Daedon in here. You don't have to have a Daedon in the slightest. The only thing you do have to have is, like all boss fights, have a Yuti on you, so you can get that Yuti buff and just do that much more DPS. The tech cave in itself is really easy, you just walk down. The only thing I should note is there's a few bits where you can fall into lava potentially, and you don't want to do that because it's a rip game over and you're not going to be able to, do you know what I mean, get back in. And the tech cave doesn't get run all the time, and that's really because of the tributes you need. So you need to kill all 3 other bosses, the Broodmother, the Monkey, and the Dragon, and actually get the hard variant of that boss's tribute. You also need a Raptor Claw, Alpha Raptor Claw, Alpha Carno Arm, Alpha T-Rex Tooth, Alpha Bazzy Blubber, Alpha Tuso Eye, Alpha Moser, and an Alpha Megalodon thing. There's a video coming out soon on basically the easy way to get all of these items. That's not too difficult, and it just involves going around on a snow owl and potentially in the sea on a what's it called, Tucson. That's about it. On the left here, this little cliff is quite dangerous. and you want to bear in mind not to fall into that. So we're coming up to where the first giga is. Now, if someone's quite clever, or you don't even have to be necessarily clever, you just got to use your eyes. If you can clear out the route you have to take is on the left. However, if you can clear out the dinosaurs on the right hand side and just shoot with any form of ammunition, the giga, he'll run across and go straight in the lava, and you won't have to use any of your health trying to fight him. Just make sure that all the dinos are killed, because obviously Palovians do come out in this cave, and you don't want anyone dying, especially if they haven't done the Alpha Tech cave before. You don't have to die here, it's not a very difficult bit, you're just trying to bait the giga around. So yeah, just kill all the ordered dinosaurs, shoot the giga, let it run at you, fall in the lava, and then continue on your way around, and that's about it. I'm going to play some music now as we go through the cave. When we get to the second giga, or when there's a piece of information I need to share with you, I'll come back on the microphone. So yeah, I hope you enjoy.
It's so incredible.
They calling me the boss, no he ain't Ricky. See me on my blocks when you know I gets busy. I ain't gonna stop till I get a $250,000. Running from the cops, will I make it out the city? I'm feeling like I'm Biggie, literally I'm skinny. High up in the sky, cause I'm smoking on a sticky. Jones dropped the top, man, he got me moving shifty. I don't wanna smoke up, ain't shit pretty, man, I keep shit really. This is all my life, I've been through the pain, you can see it in my eyes. I ain't gonna change for the women or the ice. Will I ever leave the game if I ever had to sign? Need blacks and Benny, way ahead of time. I clap off the semi, watch your melon fry. You better step aside or you better get a life. About you on my strip, nigga, what you selling, white? I pitch him in the pitch, just for telling lies. Pussy, you a snitch, you never gonna ride. I'm smoking on a spliff, when I let it sky. Yeah, I'm gonna ride, till the end of time. And that's on my own, if it ain't about money, I never leave my home. Yeah, I'm moving funny when I'm speaking on the phone. Lee hooked me up, so I'm sleeping with the cone. Yeah, I'll bring it home, and that's for my team. It's in my blood, I can feel it in my jeans. I do it for the tugs, the ones that getting cream. All my niggas that bust their machines. Yeah, I get clean, and you can say dirty. I've been a little bad boy, you since nursery. I ain't trying to be on the blocks when I'm 30, but I gotta hit them shots cause I'm thirsty.
They're calling me the boss, Joey's that Ricky. Catch me on the motorway, blowing on the sticky. Fiends want the peng, so they're phoning up Ricky. Squeak's got the cheese stinking out the whole city. Really? I remember when I never had no lunch money. Then I went out of town and got that country money. Little fraud money, focus, Ford money. Then the pussy old feds took it all from me. So I started from scratch, built a new strip, made the youngest graft in the flats. I just sat back, flipped and went hard on the tracks. Be honest with yourself, fam, who's harder than blacks? Real talk going against me is suicide, cause I'd lose my life before I lose my pride. We're due to be up next, it's true that we does this, the usual suspects. The kush that I'm smoking is so peng. I grind hard, fam, but I ain't tryna go pen. I write bars on my BB, no pen. Fam, I'm just trying to ball like the world, dang cheese in my split, Henny in my cup. Thinking about my niggas that got 20 from the judge. Pour a little liquor out in memory of my tugs. You ain't with us no more, they're in heaven up above. I'm in the concrete jungle, full of snakes and rats. That's why as much as I love the hood, I hate the flats. I spend money on grub, they quickly make it back. I'm seeing high profits and I ain't paying tax. Squeaks is a beast, I suggest you don't play with banks. Millionaires out soon, you can hate on that. Done with the days of running round waving straps. The game's about to change, fam, watch it fade to black.
Right, so we're at the second giga now. This is the end of the actual tech cave, and you know you're coming to the end because you can see those translucent hexagons there by the exit, and that's where you're going to go through into the teleporting room. So in short, the tech cave's really not that difficult. You just walk down a cave with a load of your Rexes and teammates, kill things as you go along. There's one giga which is an obstacle, and then there's the second giga which you can see here. To bait this second gig without attacking it, although you could attack it if you want, you can just shoot it from this ledge here and it'll walk off into the lava, or you can come down to the right hand side of this slope here where you need to walk down anyway and shoot it, and it will be baited just as easily and fall into the lava. So you have to risk none of your health of your Rexes on killing a gig. So we're leaving the tech cave now, so it won't be as hot, but instead it'll be freezing. So you need to remind yourself and remind your tribe that they need to eat food and drink drinks to keep their health up and their food up as they're going to be starving. So this next room here is very important for large tribes and large groups going in, especially if you have allies, because there can only be 10 people go through the teleporter at a time. If there's more than that in the area which the teleporter effect is, then people are going to die, dinos are going to die, you're going to go out of the mesh, it's going to be a big rip, and those bobs that have been so eager to get into this fight for the extra levels and the implant, they're going to be fucked off and cry to you every day because they want the tech code, and you're going to have to do all this shit again. So when you come through this bit, you need to get one of the people in your party, or if you've got split parties, just communicate so you know what's going on. You need someone counting how many people actually go through into the teleporter room, and you want to have people waiting. Here, you see where Rika is here on the ute, you want people waiting behind there, okay, and you want to count 10 people on to the teleporter. Any more than that, it's going to get glitchy, it's not going to work, and yeah, it's just going to fuck up a lot of things, and then potentially you might not have the DPS or firepower to kill the Overseer. Although, to be honest with you, I can't see that actually being the case, as the Overseer is actually quite an easy boss to defeat. So once you get to this teleporter, you want to make sure that there is only 10 people. I can't stress that enough. Otherwise, there will be people teleported out in the mesh. Okay, as you can see, the Rex is coming up here, and then there's someone just doing a head count. And then the rest, as you can see, waiting there. The teleport area of effect is quite large, and it isn't just the people standing on the teleporter. If you're down there on the slope leading up to the teleport, you could be teleported out of the mesh and killed, which is not ideal. When you go through this teleporter, there's 3 explorer notes. There's one to the right hand side, which is over. It's quite an interesting room actually. The next room, it really breathes a bit of life of the storyline into Ark. A nice way to do a head count, by the way, for a teleporter is actually all hop on your dinos, and then there's no one standing on the floor, and you just see if there's a dinosaur unridden, and then you can just count the heads that way. So when you go into this teleporter room, you're actually on a spaceship above the Ark, and you're in the Overseer arena, and you can see kind of the first glimpse of what the simulation was. Obviously we've had DLCs now with Extinction and Genesis, where it's obvious that we are in the simulation, but you've got to remember when the island came out, and especially Tech Cave, because the island's volcano originally didn't actually have a Tech Cave in it. It just was a smooth top, and people used to find metal there and build OP bases on the top of the volcano back on Legacy. So this was the first glimpse of a storyline Ark really had, other than the Explorer notes, which is a really interesting dynamic, because it was just really cool as well coming up here for the first time, and it probably still is for people that haven't done the Tech Cave before, because you come into this kind of spaceship and you can kind of see Ark for what it is. You see all 3 boss arenas, the monkey, the dragon, and the brood mother from up here, which is really interesting. You can see their kind of hologram painted on a picture over these consoles, which is really cool if you've never been up here before. And as you go along, you can see the person, the Homo Deus, the Homo Deus, the hologram as well as different dinos hologram, and it's just really interesting. But back to actually getting the Alpha Tech Cave done. So while you're in this room waiting for the other people to teleport, because obviously they then have to do a head count, and they then have to wait a minute to teleport as well, you can just feed your dinos and collect the Explorer notes. If you go down further on the left, there's a holographic globe, which is quite interesting. It's kind of showing that the Arks are, it's not Earth, it's an Earth-like place that the Arks are on, and it's just showing that these dinosaurs aren't dinosaurs, and it is part of the simulation, which is really, really interesting and fun. As you come along here on the left-hand side, there's another screen you can see through, and there's actually an Explorer note here on the left. So as we can see, we can come up here, and on these consoles you can see the double helix, and then the human there, the Homo Deus. And obviously this is trying to find a bit about your specimen implant. And the storyline through the Explorer notes is actually very interesting. You know, you're beamed up to try and stop the Overseer, and I think end up being sent back in time into extinction, which is quite cool and interesting. So by the time you've reached the end of this little cave here, you should be, your other team should be teleported up into the Overseer arena. If not, in the time again, as you can see me now, you can just force feed some meat and get your health up, especially if you're one of the Rexes that have been at the front of the pack, because you're going to have low health. Another thing to do, you can always bring spare Rex in, you know, and have shotgun bullets and things like this. It's not... I personally don't think this boss fight is incredibly hard. I think it's fun. I think doing the Alpha Tech Cave is actually a very fun thing to do. So yeah, I'm just going to get my health up here. When we go into the Overseer arena, everyone wants to run around on the left hand side as to not start off the fight immediately, because there is actually an Explorer note right at the back of the cave. I was just fucking around here, going to unclaim it because of a conversation I was having at the time in the party, but never mind to that. So you want to come around and make sure everyone can get the Explorer note, and then you want to start off the fight. Now, the fight's pretty straightforward. You just want to attack and kill the Overseer, which is that specimen implant shaped thing at the end of the room. It floats about. Droidicas spawn, which can kill you. It can knock you off your tame by shooting these beams of light out, but you can use the pillars in the room to actually stop the beams of light shooting you off. And if they do shoot you off, it's not that big a deal. Another massively important thing to add with this boss fight is you actually want to whistle your dinosaur to you, you want to whistle your Rex to you, because when you get knocked off and it's on aggressive, it's going to run away from you, and you might get attacked by the Droidicas on the floor. However, again, that's not that much of a big deal, because I personally wouldn't say this boss fight is the most difficult. So what's going to happen is this is a health percentage based boss fight, and when it gets to a certain level of lowness, it's going to transform from the Overseer into a holographic form of the dragon, the monkey, or the spider. Now, the monkey, obviously the easiest, the spider, then the second most difficult because of the blobs. They still do the same attack types, and so the dragon is still just as annoying to kill in the Overseer fight as it would be in the normal fight, although personally it hasn't got as much health, so obviously it's easier to kill. So yeah, this is it basically for the strategy. I'm gonna play some music for the rest of this because you don't want to just hear me ramble on. But basically the strategy is attack it, when it's flying away, shoot it with a shotgun. If you get knocked off, stay calm, don't panic, because you've got your Rex whistle to you. DPS, DPS, DPS. When it swaps into a holographic form of another boss, just get your DPS in and really just go for it. Also, another thing I've heard people say is you lose your stuff when you ascend. That's completely not the case. You keep all of your items unless you have any element on you or any element in your suit, because it counts as a character transfer. Another good thing to note, as we can see here, it's transformed into the holographic dragon, and you can see that it's doing the fire out there, but element version, I suppose. You know, you see how much DPS is going on. It's really not a difficult boss fight. You just get everything in there doing DPS and the U buff. So yeah, it's good to add if there is other tribe members from different servers coming, because obviously it counts you swapping server. You can download your character straight off the ARC, so you wouldn't necessarily have to respawn in on the server. You can just turn the game off or exit to the main menu and then choose your server, and you can spawn in and download the character fresh as you've ascended. So yeah, I'm going to play some music for the last 6 minutes. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful little walkthrough.
DJ Limelight.
straight brands and lots of I wrapped him just cause. Had a poxy eating and I ate and then he called himself my nick fam. It's like he's trying to take me for a prick, so I had to rob him, black on black baddie on him. Straight Aggie on him, fam, I sent Aki on him. Well, no more herbs on tick, but I don't mind cause I could burn that bridge. And there's a few more to burn, can't you? He's flagging white, not blue. The whole of East End, 8 man. I robbed none of them so I don't blame them. Glock 9 when I be without you. Probably dead and that's the truth. I live my life on the edge, fam. It's 5 years if I'm stopped by the Fed, fam. Yeah, man. Yo. I'm really on that broadcasting. And it's funny cause he see me but he can't do shit. Yo, the life of a real goon. Making that money move mommy out real soon. And my heart goes out to her. She ain't the fact that I'm on road but I'm out for her, fam. Yo, I've had the feds at her house door, but she couldn't cope staring at me in the crown cool. Bare dandruff, bags in my eyes and handcuffs. Sitting in the dock with my grams blood. Like this is what it's down to. Staring at her like don't know be more, I'll be out soon. Cause I just want the best for her. That's why I might cop a vest for her. Cause I ain't tryna die on these streets too. For some nigga I should have already made see-through. Mama BT too. Heartbroken. Couple front doors barged open. Got all my niggas riding. I said all my niggas riding. Now what I be without you? It's flagging white, not blue. The whole of East End, 8 man. I rob none of them so I don't blame them. Glock 9 when I be without you. Probably dead and that's the truth. I live my life on the edge, man. It's 5 years if I'm stopped by the Fed, man. Yeah, man. What I be without you? It's flagging white, not blue. The whole of East End, 8 man. I rob none of them so I don't blame them. Glock 9 when I be without you. Probably dead and that's the truth. I live my life on the edge, man. It's 5 years if I'm stopped by the Fed, man. Yeah, man.
Yo. Well. Now the end, mate. Yo. Dockers are scarce in the yard of wasteland. The last vacant quest, looted from a dusty grave. Scavengers, skirting, grasping the last precious ends. When two unlikely characters appear in the present moonlight. Oh, what a pickle, the large fellow said to the natty one who had a natty K-leg. Oh, what a natty twisted me, barely I shine. He said, your chins have lifted. Back to the dusty quicks. Your needles go back to see them. They move so fast. Your needles go back to see them. They move so fast. Keep out like John Lennon and the kids. Superorganism with a deadly
So yeah, we're coming up to the death of the Overseer now, the last bit of DPS being done, and as you can see, it's really not a difficult boss fight, and in all honesty, the hard dragon on the island is more difficult than this. So yeah, to summarise, you basically have the tech cave. You need to run that, basically to start it off, get everyone lined up, okay, get everyone logged off, walk your way down the cave, bait the first giga on the right hand side, kill stuff, walk your way around the rest of the cave, bait the second giga, wait at the TP, only 10 people on the TP at a time. The first set of people going into that first room, heal your Rexes. Second set of people go in, heal your Rexes. Walk into the Overseer arena. DPS till it transforms. DPS till it transforms. DPS till it transforms. DPS and kill it. If you don't know where the Explorer note is in this room, it's right here. And yeah, just make sure it before you go. You don't know when you might not be in there next. It's actually a quadruple XP boosting Explorer note. So yeah, this is the final cinematic of Ark. I don't know if anyone's not seen this before. Really fun screen to accomplish and to get to, and it's the first time you actually get to see that the server you're living on is kind of like visually how it could work, where you have these arcs in all space and your character can go from one to the other and one to another, and it's different lands, and it's just wicked in it. So yeah, that's Alpha Ascension from the Mighty Jalak. Hope you found the video useful. Goodbye.